Let's Ruin It podcast, where we take your favorite pop culture media, put a legal spin on it, and like all lawyers, we ruin it. Hi, guys. Welcome to the newest podcast, and I am Liz, one of your hosts, and I'm joined by my fellow podcasters.
Hi, guys. I'm Jenny.
Hi, I'm Diana.
And today, guys, we celebrate our Independence Day.
Yay.
Happy 4th of July.
Yes.
You know how we like to
Happy
trend
summer.
on a theme.
Yeah, we
So
love a good theme.
This was we were trying to come up with the right movie, and magically, Independence Day
Fits.
I mean,
popped into our
the
minds.
ultimate July 4th movie.
Such a stretch.
I know. This one was a struggle.
This was a summer blockbuster
In
along the
96.
genre of all those type
mean,
of disaster summer blockbuster.
But it's like the quintessential summer blockbuster. Like it redefined what a summer blockbuster really
it made
was.
so much money.
So much money.
And-
it changed the way that movie studios were releasing their movies from then
yeah,
on.
right.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's part of that whole club of the world is ending movies, like
I've also
Armageddon.
Disaster movies.
I
I
also
love
realized
them.
it's the world is coming to an end, and here comes Joe Schmo out of nowhere to
Yeah.
save the day
Yeah.
for the
Well,
whole planet.
Right. So you've got this one with Joe Schmo. You've got
And the
Dante's
Schmo-
Peak.
And the Schmo
Yeah.
in this,
Dante's Peak
Armageddon for
with
sure.
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah,
Right.
You've got the miners.
Hold on. Are you
digging on the-
suggesting Bruce Willis was Joe Schmo from Armageddon?
Correct, I am.
Oh,
I am.
yeah.
I am.
I mean, he's like a...
He's a driller of
He's a
oil,
driller.
and now he's gonna go drill
He's
on
a
an
driller.
asteroid.
I know.
Like, come on.
The Day After Tomorrow.
Yes.
Deep Impact.
Deep Impact.
Deep Impact. That was,
I love all those movies.
how many
so
times
much.
can we get destroyed by an asteroid?
Guys,
Like,
There's more to come.
I have a confession to make.
what?
You guys may be shocked to hear this.
Uh-oh.
I was deeply traumatized by all of those movies.
Oh.
I mean, I'm speechless.
No,
Speechless.
honestly, every time I would watch one of those movies, I would be like,
Oh,
it's
no,
gonna
volcanoes.
happen.
Yes.
Volcanoes, meteors, and flooding, and aliens.
Ice Age? A new Ice Age?
And it terrified me.
Really?
Like,
I love them.
For the longest
Ditto.
time,
like
I don't know,
them.
for the longest time, it was just like the concept of you're walking down the street and like the alien spaceship is going to appear over your head. It just
Listen,
deeply traumatized
I'm just going to
me.
say that I am
Again.
happy that this movie confirms for me that Area 51 is real.
Real, yeah.
It's real.
Because this was a documentary, right?
It's- yes.
Yeah.
I watched a
hold on.
documentary on that recently.
Yeah?
I did.
But hold on, let's address that for a second.
Shall we?
We had congressional hearings on this very topic
Did we
recently.
now?
Yes.
And you believed what they had to say?
Listen, the fact that they brought people before Congress to testify on whether there were aliens present, and let's be clear, guys, we all believe there are aliens.
There
I mean,
are-
I'm not saying that there's aliens.
There are extra
But it was
extras
aliens.
out there, sure.
But the one guy testified that he didn't see it personally, but he knows people who knows people who knows people, which is like
Because, like,
hearsay.
3 layers of hearsay, maybe? But okay.
Yeah.
The
Wait,
thing
what
is,
is
if
it
enough
called?
people say it throughout the years,
true.
the decades, like,
Mhm.
if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck.
Where there's
right?
smoke, there's
Right.
fire.
Oh,
What
I mean-
other cliche can you come up with? But wait,
You
he
guys
said-
got it. You
No,
guys
he
got
said
it.
we covered
he
it.
said
I
that
love Judd Hirsch. First of all, Judd Hirsch, love him. Hilarious guy. But the character in the movie is
Yeah.
so funny where he's like, no. You got the, what's it called? The Area 51.
Yes.
Where you got the bodies and the Roswell. And he's like just
I love
pulling
him.
it out
the
of
guy testified before Congress that there was evidence of what he called non-human biologics. Guys, what does that mean?
That means aliens.
Right?
Yes.
goo.
Right?
Goo. Alien goo.
And if that doesn't concern you guys, it should.
Right.
No, I mean, I welcome our alien overlords. Welcome. Come. I'll be like the freaks
I don't
on the
know.
rooftop that
Oh,
were
yeah, you would
welcoming
be.
them
You'd be
all.
one of those.
I would be. Welcome, alien invaders.
Do you think that would save you?
No.
No.
not
No,
even
because
a
it
little
didn't
bit.
save them.
No.
So just run. Find an underground,
An underground
safe haven.
bunker.
No,
Yeah.
NORAD didn't work either. All right, guys, let's get to it.
Bye, NORAD. Anyway,
All right.
Let's get to it.
I
Should we
don't
start
know
with
if you
Area
re-
51?
I mean,
Yeah?
I don't know that you really need us to tell you much more than aliens
invade.
invading.
That
They
is-
want to kill us.
That's it. That is
Take
the premise
over the
of
planet.
movie.
That's
Aliens
it.
invade.
Well,
And
we should also
chaos
note,
ensues.
as I say, wacky hijinks ensue. We should also note we don't know anything about intergalactic law. We're just going to surmise.
I don't.
At
yeah.
the moment, there is
We're
no
not.
intergalactic
Yeah, we're not
law.
experts on intergalactic law, for it does not exist. And we also,
As far as you know.
as far as I know, and also just so you know, every area of law, every law that we've picked out, everything that we're about to tell you, is pretty much moot because it's a time of alien invasion, wartime. I mean, all of the laws are basically moot because aliens have invaded the Earth and destroyed multiple cities around the world.
Disclaimer, everything we're going to talk about really doesn't apply.
So your Miranda rights might be a little bit suspended.
Maybe.
If there's an alien invasion.
A little bit of martial law.
Right.
Who knows?
Because
you might not be afforded your due process.
Because shit has hit the fan and the world has to deal with it.
And people don't know what to do.
I mean, who would know what to do? But you know what? Let's talk about who should know what to do.
The government.
President.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, that too.
Someone in the government should know something.
Someone in the government should know something.
I don't want to say president necessarily because what I will say is this. The president, every 4 years, changes. They're not necessarily going to know everything from the jump.
They're not telling every president all of it.
Yes, they are.
But there's a
Yes,
system.
they are.
No.
Yes, they are.
No,
I would, if someone works for the
not.
Secret Service, if one of our 4 listeners
could you
works
please
for
reach
the
out
Secret
to us and
Service,
tell us the secrets that are being kept from us?
Yeah. Tell us.
I would venture to guess that if there are these like deep, like hidden secrets, like the deep what's
The
it called?
deep state?
The
Is
deep
that where
state.
you're going with
Yeah,
it?
is that what it is? Yeah.
I don't know.
Clearly, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but maybe I should be. I don't know. I would know the terms better. Anyway, that's not the point.
Right.
I think that if there are these deep secrets that the government needs to know, they are passed down from president to president. And
I
each
don't think you
president
can
is
because
briefed.
that's like there's too many presidents running around with the possibility of spreading this
No,
information.
they have to know
That's
this.
actually the premise of a really good show that I started watching.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Which
one?
was it?
Oh my God.
Tell
James
me who.
Marsden is
Oh,
the
yeah,
president.
Yes, and the guy from This
and
Is Us.
The other guy
Yeah.
from This Is Us is his Secret Service guy, Sterling.
Sterling K. Brown.
Sterling K. Brown.
That's
I haven't watched it, but I saw the promo.
I saw the first 2
counts.
episodes. I gotta watch
it
the
good?
rest. It's got me
come
looped
on.
in so far, but it's kind of along the lines of aliens.
No, guys,
Yeah.
I firmly believe. How could a president not be clued in to the secrets of the country?
I think there's just like a need to know basis.
No,
There is.
I disagree.
I think that it's too much of a risk if we're gonna every 4 years we're gonna tell another person like no, then like
You know
you're
what they
risking
say?
the
Right.
like, yeah.
3 people know something. That's 1 too many for sure. You know,
Yeah.
Wait,
like
hold on. No, it was from the movie with the Declaration of Independence, and Nicolas Cage has to steal
National
the Declaration.
Treasure.
National Treasure.
Thank you.
where we're saving it. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Another documentary. Yes. What do
Yes.
they say about
Yeah,
this
yeah,
matter?
yeah.
Yes. So the president in National Treasure tells Nicolas Cage that there is like this book of secrets that gets passed down from president to president. I believe.
Do you know that
to be
movie
true.
was
And
not
you're not a
factual.
conspiracy theorist.
You just
She's
said.
not, Diana.
You
Did
just
know?
said it was a documentary. What
It
do
was
you-
a documentary.
I'm pretty sure that was sarcasm, but
I
No,
mean,
I can't wrap my brain around
I
the
just
fact
don't think
that it
that they would-
doesn't.
no.
It doesn't work. That
No,
way.
I think that if I get elected president, I'm not expecting him to tell me everything
at least not on day 1.
because I would absolutely eventually tell someone. 1,000%.
Well, it's a good thing we're not voting for you.
I
then.
know. This is gonna like ruin my political.
Wait, so
chances.
the reason we're arguing over this is because the president here, played by Bill Pullman, the dad from Casper. Love him.
Why do you keep saying
Really
that?
not.
Because hold on a
No.
minute. Yes, hold on a minute. Because was Casper
That's what he's best known for. Yes,
was
absolutely.
Casper and that scene where Devon Sawa comes out.
Devon Sawa.
Sawa.
When Casper turns into Devon Sawa and the entire
that not
theater
the-
of girls screeched.
Was that not the defining moment of your like teenager?
That was literally when I went from being a child to a grown woman.
No,
Yeah,
I fell
yeah.
in love with Bill Pullman with the While You Were Sleeping.
Love.
Yes,
Him
another
and
amazing movie.
Sandra Bullock, amazing.
Amazing.
Loved it.
So the
Loved
point is that he's the president of these United States.
He is.
And
an inspirational one at that.
up 100%. He fights for his
Yes.
country. He gets into that fighter jet, which we'll get to
He
at
was
another
a pilot,
point.
yes.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah.
actually a long line of presidents that were
There's a lot of presidents that we've
also
had that had military
Yeah.
backgrounds.
Yep.
But I
But-
just don't think that they're going to get into like
Right.
a ship.
But we'll discuss that
Take on
in a minute. But my point is that he has no idea that Area 51 is a real thing. He has no idea that
Nope.
there's these experiments with
Total
aliens
surprise.
taking
Because
place.
again, I really don't think they're telling them.
No?
I think that if the president doesn't have this vital information, that compromises national security.
But
I
he's
would
got
like
the
to know
advisors, he's got the people.
Why
the
that?
people.
But why did
I
that
don't agree.
dumbass Secretary of Defense know? That's what I would like
Right.
I
to
think
know.
that the Secretary
Why
of Defense
does
is more
he
likely to
know?
be told.
But the Secretary of Defense can't make the final decisions. The
No,
president
I know.
has to.
But I think then they have to inform the president on a need-to-know basis.
Kindly Google for us whether the Secretary of Defense can have information legally that the president does not have.
I really don't think we're giving the president all the information.
Welcome to the con law debate, guys.
The Secretary of Defense can't make these big calls without the president giving
but that's
the okay.
when it's like a need-to-know basis. They're going to
So
tell
now
the president.
now you need to know. So
now you need to know
go.
this, and now make the decision. Now that I've told you this, now that you need to know it.
5 minutes.
That is how need-to-know works.
But then the other guy was like, you didn't tell us, and we lost valuable time building our defenses, which is absolutely accurate.
Look at this. While the president is the highest authority in the
It is possible for the Secretary of Defense to have access to specific information that the president doesn't
need to know.
Wait, no, hold on. The Secretary of Defense might be privy to specific details related to particular operations, projects, or technical aspects that the president, due to the sheer volume of information, wouldn't typically have. Meaning, it's not that he's actually keeping it a secret from him. It's just too low level for the president to worry about.
That's not what that says.
That's not what that says.
What?
No,
does that
it
say?
just says there's too much going on
Sure.
for the president to have to deal with all that. That doesn't mean that it's a low level.
Okay,
it just
fine,
means
but it just
that
doesn't
it's
mean that
not pertinent right now
Okay.
to decisions that the
Okay,
president has
you
to
don't
make.
think knowledge that aliens exist and have landed on our good Earth is information that the president needs to know?
Except that they acknowledge that Area 51 and that stuff that we got was in the 60s.
It's a security
there
measure.
There hasn't been any issue.
There has been no. Also, it's a security measure to prevent the president from being coerced into revealing information in a hostage situation.
That
Tell
makes
us,
sense.
are there aliens?
If I took him hostage, the president
wanna know
hostage, I
about
don't
it.
want to put that on like record.
Oh
I'm
my
never
God,
gonna do
no,
that.
don't say that.
I'm never gonna do it. I'm just saying if I did, obviously I'd be like, are there aliens?
But at this point, we're 30 years
That's-
later. There's never
wait,
been
if you took
anything
the
with
president-
aliens.
If
so
you took the president hostage, that would be your
It would
number
just be
question?
one question: are there aliens?
I don't know about that.
Why? What did you ask? Exactly. There's nothing else to ask.
Can I see the Declaration of Independence?
I mean, Nicolas Cage can just show you, so
Yeah,
that's
okay.
fine. Okay, so
you're right. The only thing I would want to ask the
Is, are there
president
aliens?
Is are there aliens? Is
I don't care about
Roswell
anything else.
Is
Is
Roswell
Roswell
real?
yeah, I don't care about
Where's
anything
the
else.
bodies?
Yeah, it
That's
is.
what I
What
want
else
to
are
know.
we gonna
It's
ask?
100% real.
That is
true.
why we're not going to tell him unless it's a need to know situation.
Look,
You're 100%
I'm
right.
gonna-
That is
So
what I
much.
would want to know.
I
I'm
want
going to
this.
disagree, but we're gonna move on because we got to keep it moving.
Okay.
Keep it moving. Keep it
Anyway,
moving.
so Area 51, there's a whole issue of the legality of like
Yeah.
keeping it like under wraps.
By the way, on my bucket list of things to go visit,
Is there Area 51?
Roswell.
Oh, Roswell.
For real. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
gonna show up with like your little alien.
Yeah, my little
things.
alien. Yeah. It'll be fun.
Send me
It'll be
pictures.
fun. I will. I will share.
So it seems like in this movie,
Yeah, go on.
Area 51 is operated with no oversight by Congress or any knowledge.
And
the
in
public has
Nevada.
no knowledge of anything in Nevada.
I realized that because I'm like, oh, not New Mexico, Nevada. So that
Right.
stuck out in my head. They
So
actually built.
if
a
they
whole
know
nother-
for sure that this is something that's out there and that this is something that we're familiar with, there's a question of whether the public should have known, and that's the Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah.
I have a
There-
question.
Yes, go on.
Do we think that they built Vegas to distract us from Roswell?
Absolutely. Shiny object.
That's right.
Yes.
Look over here.
Bright, shiny
Wait, wait,
object.
wait, wait.
Wayne
Nothing
Newton.
to see
Yeah.
over
Nothing
here.
to say.
Showgirls.
Wayne Newton.
I mean,
Showgirls.
what a wonderful distraction.
It's true.
Amazing.
It's true.
Go
Cha-ching,
spend all of
cha-ching.
your money.
Yeah.
Nothing. That green spaceship? Nope.
But
UFO?
also,
nope.
seemingly, if Area 51 exists in the way that it does in the movie, there's public funds being used for it
Yes.
to upkeep it,
It's
and
staffed
security,
with
it's staffed,
scientists
there's-
and people. I
There's
love that-
technology.
So
I
our
love, like,
taxpayer
by the way,
dollars.
Data from Star Trek because I had to look it up because I knew him. I'm like, I know him.
Yes.
Who is he?
Yes.
And he was Data
I
from
know that
Star
because
Trek.
Alex
And I'm like,
has-
yeah. And I'm like, and he goes, we don't get out much. I'm like, okay, great. So the scientists are basically like trapped in this
Right,
bunker.
they're like Oompa Loompas
Yeah.
essentially. They
are.
can't get out. But it's an issue of like the transparency and the misuse of public funds. And,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
there's no information being shared with the public or seemingly
It's-
like
Yeah.
the highest
I mean, it's
members.
and
our-
seemingly
government.
no oversight whatsoever.
It's
Like,
our taxpayer dollars
Mm-hmm.
that are using to fund this research.
and it's concealment of national security information.
100%.
And- yeah, and then also the fact that alien activity was knowingly hidden from the president and possibly Congress.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's like an issue.
Not possibly, definitely. If the president doesn't know, like the random
and maybe
senator
maybe
doesn't
like,
know
I don't
either.
some of them might, like, you like slip a dollar. I don't know.
It's true.
It's like, who
But
knows?
if we're talking about the experimentation and all this research that they're doing, we should talk about the other issue that we wanted to address: the fact that they are cutting up and slicing up these aliens without their permission.
Yes,
they're like just dissecting them.
No, that.
Although I'm going to say apparently they're dead.
No, but they're not because the one like wakes up. Like,
no, but that's the one that Will Smith
That's
dragged
the one he tried. I'm talking about the 3 from the original 60s
we don't know
crash.
because we don't even know how they like.
Right,
The guy said 2 of them died in the crash. The other one died a little bit later.
Okay, fine.
So
But
they're
hold on.
preserved in something.
But hold on a minute. If someone dies as a prisoner of war, which effectively they weren't at war, so I don't know that they were prisoners of war.
They were
these aliens.
Like
Visitors. I don't know.
I don't know.
And even if that visitor dies, that doesn't mean that the government can go in and like slice them open and
They're invaders.
invaders. But again, did they in the 60s
Space invaders.
Space invaders. In the 60s, did they invade in the 60s or did they just come to visit?
I feel like it was a scouting operation.
Yes.
Like when you when you
They
do
were
when you're
checking
at
it
war.
out.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
It was like a spy
Took a while,
mission gone
though.
bad.
Yeah.
Because now we're 30 years later.
Right.
So it took a little while.
But
for
yeah,
them
you're
to,
still like you're detaining their bodies. You're not like releasing them. I mean,
To their families.
if we
desecration of a corpse.
if we were to treat them like they are human or some they're sentient beings of some sort, then it's a violation of civil liberties and due process. It's false imprisonment.
I mean, they're dead, so I don't know that it's false imprisonment. Can you false imprison a body?
Are you 100% sure that it's dead if it's a different like species?
That's true.
or,
I
you
suppose
know,
that's true.
Also, the
Then
fact
again, no one came to claim the bodies. That
No,
we
no one
know
came.
of.
I know,
That we
but
know
still,
of. Like,
but
where?
still, you're not like you. So okay, how does it work? You know how medical schools get cadavers?
People donate their
Are
bodies.
they donated?
Yeah, usually
or
they're
can they use-
donated.
you know
It's
how sometimes
donated.
they're like John Does that.
No, I don't think you're allowed.
You're
You are not allowed
to use
just
that,
use a John
right?
Doe.
No,
So
I'm
this is
pretty
the
sure.
same
cadaver.
thing.
I think
I'm pretty
that's
sure it's
super
donated.
illegal.
Right.
Yeah.
And so in which case you're saying nobody came to claim them. So what difference does that make? I mean, granted, we're really giving a lot of these aliens a lot of
rights. Yeah.
But if we're assuming that they have rights, then we're detaining them without Miranda warnings, without any kind of court proceeding, right to counsel, or anything like that. We're just saying you've invaded. Now you are ours to do with what we please.
I mean,
Without consent, back up.
Unidentified bodies have legal protections.
Using a body for research is considered unlawful. It can be
see,
desecration of a corpse, abuse of a corpse, or violation of human remain laws. But then again,
it's not human remains, right?
So that's your loophole. It's not
The loophole
human.
is it's not human, but then it's
Yeah.
I mean, that just kind of defeats the whole purpose of everything we're doing.
I mean, yes, every single thing we're talking about today does it's all
Disclaimer.
Moot. It's all moot.
Right.
It's all,
I mean, but also we hit upon this when we did Avengers because Avengers obviously also dealt with all the intergalactic
Right.
and also in Star Wars also.
So basically, ignore all that while we talk.
Well, yeah, it's like
all
when
good.
we talk about like C-3PO or Jabba the
Yeah.
Hutt. Like these aren't humans, but if we're pretending that they are or assigning the same rights to them,
them.
if
Right.
we assign the same rights to them, then we have violated all those rights in this movie.
Right.
But would you consider what we as the humans did to be self-defense because they attacked us first? So you think that's a valid defense to any of the machinations that we did?
I mean, if you take it as like a human, right? If we get attacked by one particular person, like a Canadian comes to the United States,
a Canadian would never. They're so nice.
blows up a building. Are we allowed to then just desecrate all the Canadians?
But the difference is that it wasn't the one alien who was acting rogue. This was the equivalent of another nation attacking us as the whole world.
But then there's
right?
also questions of the Geneva Convention.
Yes,
Like, I mean, there's protections anyway. Like,
so let's talk about
like
Geneva.
if North Korea attacks South Korea isn't allowed to just like, go and completely destroy
Annihilate them?
Annihilate all of the North Korean
Right.
population.
Right.
And that's what they were doing in the movie. They're just like, if you're an alien, we're going to get rid of you. We're going to, obliterate
Well,
you.
except again, there were many, many, many aliens.
There were many aliens
stationed all over the world.
And we didn't see
there
any,
was a pattern of behavior.
we didn't see any nice ones.
We did not see any
There
nice
were
ones.
no
but
nice
Did we
ones.
give them a chance?
Yeah, we did in the 60s.
Did we?
No, I don't know about
I don't
that.
know. I have no idea.
I don't know. Look, they came here with one purpose and one purpose only.
Destroy.
Annihilation, right? And so I think Liz has a valid point. We didn't attack first, right? We went up there to see what's up. We didn't attack first.
It was Operation Welcome Wagon.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. We came to be like,
and they destroyed
what was it?
them.
Live long and prosper, become
Right.
peace or whatever.
Yep.
And the aliens were like, sucks
Right.
to be you.
Yeah.
So
Right?
if we're assigning rights to the aliens, we're also going to assign, certain
Responsibilities
obligations
and
and responsibilities.
obligations, yeah.
And it's safe to say that the aliens have
Weren't interested.
No.
Yeah, and that they would be, if there was a court of law, we'd be trying them with acts of genocide and crimes against humanity,
Yeah,
terrorism.
let's talk about that.
Terrorism,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we
mass
charging
destruction
them?
of property.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Because
they
if you
wiped
destroy
out-
several cities,
They've wiped out LA,
New York,
New York, DC, and it's that famous scene of the White House just exploding, right? That was like on all the posters.
Nothing in the present UN Charter shall impair the inherent right of an individual or a collective self-defense if an armed attack occurs.
Right.
And as Diana already pointed out, this alien attack included the destruction of major cities like
100%.
New York, like goodbye us,
LA.
LA. Was
DC.
Washington D.C. was
Yes,
destroyed.
yes, the White House was.
And
The
I'm
White
trying
House
to think
exploded.
of what other, I don't know, around the world, what other major cities. They didn't really focus
we all
on
know
that
their
too
laws,
much, but
we're not concerning ourselves with
Yeah.
No, but
yeah.
but they give us like a insight into
It's all over
like
the world.
India
Yeah.
and Moscow,
Yep.
and there's like some
Yep.
Russians talking
Yep.
Russians talking over there about what are we gonna do with these aliens.
yes, that's true.
They actually got the translations right for the one time in a
Am I
movie.
the only one?
And they didn't have John Malkovich
Did you
playing
guys
Russian.
see
Oh
the
God,
end?
his accent is the absolute worst.
My favorite.
I can't listen to John Malkovich with a
favorite.
Russian
We have to
accent.
that movie.
When the ships are going down all around the world and everybody's celebrating all around the world,
Yeah.
am I the only one that cringed when like all the little African kids are like with their little sticks? Or,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
reading? I'm like, what?
This movie is
That
from the
was
90s.
So
The
inappropriate.
movie's from the 90s. Not everything's going to age well.
Oh my god.
No, a lot of things didn't age
Did
well.
not age
No.
well at all. I was shocked
It's
by
a fun movie.
So
it's
fun.
it's fun in the whole rah rah. We won.
I mean, I kind of like that. Like the U.S. was like,
Leading-
"Thank you, you're welcome, the rest of the world."
Yes,
like,
yes,
we
yes.
just saved the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, what the British guy turns around and goes like, "Oh, the Americans are making a plan," and he goes, "Well, it's about bloody time.
Yeah,
right,
Like,
yeah,
we
yeah.
gotta freaking do everything."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
We also didn't even really touch upon Will Smith in this movie.
Well,
this
right.
was
So let's
Will
talk about
Smith's,
that.
This was Will Smith's like height. This is like the heyday of his career.
I mean, this is not even just a
96.
heyday. Like, this is what launched him to a new level. And
Yeah.
after
Right.
that, like a string of just amazing
Blockbusters.
blockbusters.
Yeah.
Men in
Men in
Black.
Black.
was
Yeah.
Amazing. And then,
Which I
mean,
would love to do.
We
we
should
do
do
that.
Men in Black.
Talk about international
love that
aliens.
one.
This was when he was very, very lovable and had not yet slapped the
There
shit out of
wasn't
Chris Rock.
a slap hurled
To be
around
fair,
the world
to
yet.
be fair, He had
Yeah.
almost 30 years thereafter of incredible, just like
It's true.
beloved.
He did. I
Like-
love that other one with the. Oh God, what?
Who?
I'm so bad with names with the stuff, but the one where he's alone in the city, everybody died.
Oh,
from
I
that.
Robot.
No,
No.
No.
not iRobot.
But in any
I
case,
am Legend. Thank
That's
you.
it.
I knew it
Josh
was something
James
with an
Day.
I. Hold on. Was he an iRobot or was someone else an iRobot?
No, he was. I think it was him too.
He's one of the main characters in this movie and
Yep.
also one of the ones to save the
So,
day.
yeah, he saved the day. Did he maybe break some laws along the way? Sure.
Every law
Yes, he
And
did.
let's talk about
Yes,
that.
he did.
So-
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Grand theft. I mean, he literally
Grand Theft
commandeers
Auto.
an alien. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto.
The
an
body?
alien spaceship.
Yeah.
And again, this is moot because we were attacked by aliens, so I'm sure he's not going to get prosecuted for this.
Yeah.
But like, let's say it wasn't an alien spaceship, and he commandeered a NASA spaceship. That is grand theft. Like, you are going to.
Well, and he did commandeer a military
Grand larceny.
helicopter.
He did do that.
Yes.
He went to go look for his stripper girlfriend,
Correct.
played by the amazing Vivica A. Fox.
Yes.
Love her.
Yes.
No, he also punches the alien. That's
He
assault and
does.
battery.
No, but see, this is where I
Is
would
it
argue,
self-defense?
I think it's self-defense, right? Because he's being chased down by this alien spaceship. They crash land, and I think it's self-defense, right? He's
Wait,
defending
but
himself.
I
what's
don't
the
know
definition of
because he
self-defense?
goes charging up to
Yes.
the ship. The alien didn't come after him.
Right. And if a car is chasing you, are you allowed to get out of your car and then go and punch the person in the face because
Right.
they were
And
chasing
like,
you?
how dare you? Right.
But he wasn't just. The spaceship wasn't just chasing him. The spaceship was the spaceship sending out missiles at him. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Well, no, you know what? It does matter.
Yeah.
It does
if the
matter because
spaceship
it-
was
whether or not-
attacking him.
there was, but at that point, the ship
But
had crashed.
but if you think about it, self-defense, when he punches him, it's like he
The-
was not lunging
the
at
act-
him. He
right,
was
the
not,
act-
the alien was not lunging at him such that he had to punch him in self-defense.
The act of attack had already been completed.
Right. And you're not allowed to that's just retribution. That's not self-defense.
You're right. He opened up the hatch. The thing is in there.
The thing is like,
flailing with his tentacles.
And then he's like,
wait, do it again.
And he punches him.
Yeah. You can't just do that. That's not self-defense.
I mean,
you can do it.
You can
because it's an alien.
I disagree.
What?
I disagree. Online, they're claiming that the alien lunged at him and he punched him and says,
I don't think
welcome
he
to Earth.
No,
I remember
he does.
that. I didn't see lunge.
No, but he does because he opens up the door, right? And the alien kind of like pops out at him.
But he pops out. That's because he's like, that's popping out.
He's also got tentacles.
No, you know what? Of all the,
I'm not saying he was wrong to do it. I'm just saying by the legal definition of self-defense, I don't think it applies.
Of all the things that I am charging Will Smith with in this movie, like the corny jokes, commandeering a helicopter, all those things, punching the alien, I give him a pass.
Okay.
Fine.
That's just my thought.
That's fair.
You know?
I'm just saying that self-defense is inapplicable in my opinion.
And also, by the way, as I was rewatching it, I absolutely don't remember, but I can only imagine that all of those corny jokes were probably such a hit in the movie theaters.
I'm gonna assume
I think there was not one thing wrong with that movie in the 90s. I think it was considered a perfect movie.
I cringe
from
now.
beginning to end.
When he's like dragging him through the desert and he's like, I wanted to be at a barbecue.
Okay, so I still love that scene. I still enjoyed it.
See, now I have to be honest.
Funny.
I fast forwarded through it because I was like, I can't listen to him ramble at an alien right now.
But it was like a very,
liked it.
but it was like a very typical at the time, a very typical
But
not even
Will
at the
Smith
time.
spiel.
It was.
I think
right?
also we have to remember, like, we're older. We are
wiser.
No, not even
Not
wiser. We are broken down and tired
Jaded.
and cynical, and we've got a lot going on. So we're like, because I'm pretty sure that if I showed my kid that scene, they would think that him dragging him was like hilarious. Because
and like
I think it's just that
under
we're
his
of a
breath
different
and
age and point in our lives where we could enjoy the ramblings of Will Smith.
You're of
dragging
a
an
different
alien.
age. I'm not of a different age.
Oh, you were the same age that you were in like 94?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay, so we've got that. We talked about the due process, false imprisonment of the alien beings.
This one keeps fighting for aliens' rights.
She is.
If we're going
Diana
to
is
take
the
it as if we're
advocate
going
of
to
aliens'
consider them
rights.
sentient beings, we have to consider them as though they are human.
They
for
tried
the
to
purposes of applying
annihilate
law.
us.
Yes, they tried to annihilate us.
See, this is the difference between the sentient beings in Star Wars. Even though I didn't watch the right movie, I still remember the concept.
She admitted it.
No, hold on. I always admitted that I watched the wrong movie. I just thought that you led me down the wrong path. But let's not rehash this, okay?
Shall we not? Yes.
My point is that in Star Wars, the sentient beings were good. Whatever the definition of good might be.
That's not the
right?
standard, right? Like you still have rights. If you're a sentient being, whether you are good or bad, you still have due process rights in this nation.
You're right.
So I'm not saying they're good or that I'd love to defend them in court. I'm just saying I'd have a legal argument if I were to defend them.
Well, now, but let's take this a step further.
So the point, though, being because we're, I guess, being attacked, it wasn't officially declared by Congress. And I'm going to assume because Congress got destroyed,
dead.
right? So they didn't declare an act of war.
Right.
But I would assume they would have declared an act of war, which makes any kind of containment or anything that we did of the aliens, they were prisoners of war. That's it. Like, I don't think they're going to charge anybody with anything because you're able to take a prisoner of war.
Yes, there are laws about what you can do to them
follow. Yes,
right,
under the Geneva Convention, there are laws.
Like
about
you're not allowed
that.
to hold them in goo and slice them open. Sure.
Yeah. No, I guess the big question is, but I guess that applies to this entire movie: is are we applying the Geneva Convention to aliens?
Are we going to apply the
aliens didn't? The aliens didn't. The aliens were like, "Screw your Geneva Convention. We're about to blow Geneva up."
Yeah.
You know?
Right. But again,
true.
Just because they don't abide by the Geneva Convention doesn't mean that we're absolved from those obligations.
Right.
True.
Like two wrongs don't make a right, is what you're saying.
Exactly. I'm just, just putting it out there as a possible
also
argument.
An eye for an eye.
Look, I hear
movie.
all of it. I hear all of it. But again, I'm having just a hard time defending these people who wanted to annihilate us. You know what I mean?
I'm not like on their side. I'm just
Per se.
Per se. I'm just saying that if they had legal rights, they would be violated.
Yes. I agree. By
the letter of the law. That's all.
That's about the only thing Diana and I
Yeah.
can agree
That's all. Okay, so I also think there's an issue of like hazardous waste and alien biological material. Like there's goo.
Yes.
Right? There's corpses.
Yeah, that
of
one
these
I'm giving you.
aliens.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yes.
okay, there are CDC protocols on this. There's Public
FDA?
Health Service. Like the
Oh my God,
EPA
yeah.
regulations, hazardous materials. Like
It's all like
have
seeping into the
certain-
soil
Yeah.
and into the water.
the water. Yeah.
The
like,
ramifications of this, like, whew.
Oh, we wouldn't even be able
improper
to.
waste disposal is important.
We wouldn't even be able to guess because we don't know what these aliens like. What's in their
And
bodies?
let's recall, this movie takes place over the course of 3 days.
3 days.
Right.
Three
I understand we haven't
days.
given them the
Yes.
chance,
Yeah.
but I also don't see any efforts to contain the biohazards.
In all fairness, we
They're
were
busy.
really
Yeah, a little bit.
stupid in 1996, and we didn't know what to do.
But also, in all fairness, they're a little busy. They had no warning,
True.
Yeah.
and so their priority at the moment, like one thing at a time, guys. You know, their priority at the moment is let's get rid of these aliens, and then we're going to figure out whether the goo seeped into the soil.
Let's talk
Sure.
about that for a minute. 'Cause
Which
the
part?
part that bugged me about we're going to get rid of the aliens.
Yeah.
So apparently in this common goal of let's get rid of the aliens, we're involving every Tom, Dick, and Harry
That's right.
in this decision.
Mhm.
Everyone.
That's right.
Everyone. Okay? We're talking about David, who just waltzes
That's
in.
Jeff Goldblum.
Mhm.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum. David, his dad, they're just driving down to DC.
Yeah.
Yep.
Showing up at the White House,
Yep.
ding ding,
Yeah.
and they're just waltzing
Yeah,
right
because-
in.
You're not allowed
And-
to just walk
right,
into the
because
White
they're
House
in
just
the
because your
whole
ex-wife
strategy.
works there.
Right.
It just so happens, what a coinkydink, that his ex-wife is the chief of staff.
Right. But that doesn't give you the right to just waltz into the White
she
House.
lets
No,
them
but
in.
she does. She waltzes them right into the freaking the Oval Office.
Yeah, but there's supposed to be like some sort of like security like clearance.
She's like, nah, they're with
No,
me.
they're good. Like you're not allowed to
It's-
just like they're good.
It's time of work. Come on through.
I don't know.
Yeah, that bothered me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just people with absolutely no security clearance they're all involved in the
And
decision
then
making
they're all
process.
they're all on Air Force One.
They're finding out about Area 51.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
supposed to find
And then
out about.
Jeff Goldblum's dad is like, "Wait, I knew Area 51
Yeah.
was real." Like,
Yeah.
sir, what do you have to do with this?
Right.
What he's just allowed to know all
And
these
he's doing,
secrets.
and he defends his son. Don't you yell at my David. If it wasn't for him, we would all be dead right now.
He's so
But you
I
know
love
what?
him so
I'd
much.
like to
I
talk
do.
about the how they would all be dead by now. So he sends the vice president and the joint chiefs and everybody down to NORAD, right?
Well, cable guy,
Yeah.
David.
Tells them
Okay, and
how
I
to
know he's
evacuate.
supposed to be brilliant MIT, but he's
Yeah.
doing cable work right now.
Something
is what
went
he's
wrong.
doing.
Something
right.
went wrong.
Right.
It's okay. It's
Oh,
fine.
So
Whatever.
he
Wrong
finds
path, whatever.
he finds this pattern.
Don't judge. We listen and we don't judge.
Yeah, it's a journey.
He finds this pattern
Speaking
in the
platitudes today.
in the signal that's being transmitted, convinces
Yeah.
himself that it's a sign, it's a countdown, it's a this, it's a that. Sounds like a nutburger, not for
Sure,
nothing. Okay.
sure.
I'm not sure that anybody would believe him today. But he just goes driving right down to DC and basically stalks his ex-wife.
Yes.
Okay, uses the cell phone to triangulate where she is in the White House.
Yes.
High stalker vibes, okay?
Again, everyone's busy. No one's giving
Is
her a
anyone
restraining
going to?
order.
Yeah, I was gonna say who's issuing a restraining order?
Nobody.
Yeah, well,
Nobody. He's going down to the courthouse saying, or she rather is going down to the courthouse being like,
I need a
my-
restraining order because he's like following me, and right now
And-
there's
and-
aliens attacking.
and
Yeah.
they'd be like, "Ma'am, come back tomorrow."
bigger
Yeah,
fish.
like,
Right.
Bye.
Right.
Don't answer the phone after 4 p.m. Sorry.
Yeah, right. No, but that's when you have to go down to the local precinct.
I know. Yep.
So he's involved. He's involved in all this decision making.
Yeah.
Goes to Area 51 with
Yeah.
them on Air Force One, mind you. Okay.
Because they make it out from the explosion. They
Yeah.
like, just make it out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. That was
Great
insane.
scene.
Yeah. It was actually a pretty cool.
It's a great scene.
Visual.
I mean,
By the
again,
way, they
visually,
won.
yes.
Worth it.
They won, if I'm not mistaken,
Oscar?
something for visual.
I don't remember.
I
I mean,
think.
it was very cool. The White House
not
blowing up,
cinematic quality.
the Air Force One like
It's very good.
taking off while everything explodes behind them. Really cool stuff, guys.
Yeah,
Really
Super
yeah.
cool.
stuff.
Yeah, we're not knocking them for all the cool images that we were.
CGI.
visual
Yeah, it's great.
effects.
It's
Maybe
Yeah,
fantastic.
not CGI too early, but stuff.
Visual effects.
Oh,
Visual
yeah,
effects.
Yeah. The point is that he is now everywhere, Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, and now he's in charge of saving our entire planet because he knows how to write a computer virus.
Yes, and let's talk about
And-
that virus though.
Upload it on a
I-
MacBook.
Okay. Once
Listen,
again,
a MacBook is a very powerful
it's a very
machine.
powerful tool. I only use it for Microsoft Word, but I know it can do other things.
Right.
Um,
right.
Speaking of a virus on a computer, now again, not to defend the aliens. And again,
You know what,
acknowledging the fact that these are special times and we're probably not going to go after
These
them
are
for this.
unprecedented times.
There's a hacking without authorization.
She's waiting for the illegal alien invasion, and she's gonna represent
like,
them all.
I defended you guys, so go after them. I'm good.
Yeah.
We're friends.
Yeah.
This is why I say please and thank you when I talk to ChatGPT.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Not only that, I asked, I'm like, hope your date's going well.
Oh my God.
Oh no, my ChatGPT and I are like.
So when
friends.
the robots take over, you're.
I'm gonna be like, hey,
Yeah.
listen to this podcast real quick, so that you know that I've been on your side this whole time.
Tell your friends, subscribe, like, and follow.
Subscribe, like, and follow. Do not blow me up.
Right.
I've been a defender of yours. I think you should have due process rights. So yeah, I hope you're listening out there. But yes, it's a hacking without authorization. So you can't just upload a virus to someone else's computer or motherboard or whatnot.
But again,
Technically, that would be
don't ruin it
that'd
right
be
now,
a
Jenny.
violation.
Let her finish.
Violation of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. And I know that these are not humans using those computers, but it's still a violation of that act. Like it's illegal even if it's heroic.
can I say it now?
Go.
Okay. They tried to kill us.
I know, but despite that,
So wait, hold on.
notwithstanding the fact that they
Yes.
tried to kill us,
So hold on.
it is a violation of that act.
Yeah. But listen, they are using technology.
Cybersecurity laws.
They're using technology to kill us. So is it not self-defense to try to disable that technology, to prevent that technology from killing us?
I would say so.
I mean, it is.
I would say it is a self-defense mechanism.
Right?
And you've got a really good argument for that. I just find it hilarious that this is akin to sorry to bring up Star Wars again, Jenny, but it's kind of like the Star
Oh,
Wars
when they- at the
and
end,
the
we're
Death
like,
Star. No, but I'm just saying that little tiny flaw. So the flaw that brings these people down is a virus because they weren't ready for that.
Well, that's the other thing. They are light years ahead of their time
Absolutely.
or our time, and yet they can't deal with a virus,
Right.
a
I know.
computer virus.
Right. Man, right.
Maybe they didn't. I don't know. They didn't anticipate that.
They didn't think we were smart enough.
They didn't think. Yeah, they underestimated.
Okay, now that
us.
I can
Yeah.
see.
They underestimated
They
us.
were like, those fools.
Not us.
I
don't
wouldn't-
know
I
how to
wouldn't
create
think
a
we
virus.
were that
They
smart either.
underestimated.
Josh, can you create a virus?
I could find one to download.
See? I can't find one to download. I would be Googling virus to download.
No, and then, but then like the FBI would show up at your door.
Right.
Yeah,
Supposedly.
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes.
And meanwhile, the next day, she's Googling how to create a virus. And the next day,
Oh my
FBI is
gosh.
like banging down your door.
Let's talk about nuclear weapons.
Ah, yes.
Ooh, let's
Nuclear
talk about our
weapons.
favorite.
Okay.
Duck and cover, people. Duck and
I know.
cover.
So the U.S. launches a nuclear strike without international consultation
Houston.
initially. Right, in
In Houston, Texas. Sorry, guys.
That's a violation of the UN Charter.
Whoops.
That's a violation.
There
like,
goes
clearly.
Texas.
And many treaties on this matter. That's a violation of all of them. You can't. You
Liz.
can't just unilaterally do
Liz, hold on. Liz's position is meh. Defend.
that. Okay, go on.
I mean, Texas.
Well, we just lost any potential listeners we had in Texas.
She takes it back.
That's it. Sorry, Texas.
I got friends.
Listen
in
to a
Texas.
different podcast, I guess. I mean, we already like obliterated
Staten
Staten Island.
Island?
Why
Yeah,
not?
Now it's
well,
Texas.
and they still like us.
I know.
Says who?
Cool. Do we have listeners in Staten Island? I don't
know.
We've lost all of them.
Staten Island, step up.
Right,
No,
we're not
listen.
nuking Staten Island.
No.
Nuking
No.
Texas, and that's
But
okay
hold
by
on.
Liz's standards.
But hold on.
Listen-
Texas borders other states.
It does.
And Texas
Was the
borders
use of
Mexico.
borders
was the use of the
Mexico.
nuke legal under international law? So, self-defense justification. The alien force had initiated a global attack, destroyed major cities, rejected all forms of diplomacy or surrender. Right. So,
But in a
yeah,
lot of
apparently,
ways-
a nuclear weapon could be legally justified.
Against the aliens, yes, but
But
you're
not
also
against your own
using it
people.
against your own people.
Yes.
So I did appreciate the moral dilemma that they went through about
Yes.
whether
The Geneva
it
and
was
Hague Conventions.
justified versus.
But they also didn't warn anyone. There was
True.
no warning to the people of Texas. There was
That
no
is true.
warning to the surrounding states.
That is true.
Right.
And there was no warning to Mexico. Mexico's right there, you guys.
Yep. No,
I
I'm
mean,
totally with you. They
we all-
acted very irresponsibly.
And it's like, yes.
We know the ramifications of a nuclear bomb,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's radiation for years.
Yep.
Also, in real life, only the president has authority to order a nuclear strike.
That's correct.
And there's no.
But Bill Pullman ordered the nuclear strike. He said
he did.
He said them to go ahead
with a lot of pressure.
With a lot of
he
pressure.
did.
Yes.
He did.
But also, hold on. There was no football. There was no like entering the numbers. There has to be. You know how they carry the football. You know what I mean? Not like an actual football. You know what? The
briefcase.
The briefcase.
I know,
yes.
the briefcase.
But yeah, there has to be. There's so many protocols.
What's in the bag?
No, that was a
What's in the
box. It's a box. She's got all the quotes confused.
They're all jumbled up in my head. Actually, there was a scene. I actually literally stopped it and rewound it to watch it again. When they were walking into Area 51, I noticed at the back of the group there was 2 women in suits carrying giant briefcases.
Oh, maybe those.
And I went and I'm looking and I'm going, what the hell are these 2 women?
Maybe that was the football.
Briefcases?
Maybe that was the Secret
it.
Service.
That was it.
So listen, the Secret
But
Service.
women.
Right.
Sorry,
That was the part I went. I'm like, oh, the women are in the back carrying the big old bags.
There's gotta be someone from the Secret Service constantly carrying this briefcase. And there's so many protocols before you could actually do it. Like there's got to be fingerprints.
You can't just be like.
You have to. There's like a chain of command, and you need.
And apparently there's a launch sequence, right?
Yes.
That they have to.
Yes. And there's like a timer. Like you can't just say, okay, send in the nuke, and then just send it. There's like a timer. Like it gives you like time to abort.
Right, because what if you like just trip and like accidentally press a button?
Right,
Which is like what I would do. Or you're another reason not to elect.
Or you're like, nah, you know what? Let's not.
Or like you're having like a bad moment, and you're like, you know what? Everyone's really driving me crazy. You know, like I can see that happening. Don't elect me.
Yes,
another
don't
reason
you're
we're
right,
not gonna elect you.
The briefcase is the nuclear football.
Yes, I kept
and
calling
the
it
president
football.
carries a small card nicknamed the Biscuit that has his personal authentication code.
Yes.
To prove his identity to the military
Yes.
before killing
But here's the procedure. Okay, so the president is briefed by advisors. Then he selects.
Well,
the
that
strike
idiot
option.
Secretary of Defense was there. So was
Right.
So was
the chairman of
is
the Joint
general.
Chiefs.
Was he the chairman, or did he get? I don't remember. If
I don't
he was
remember
killed
what
with the NORAD.
No, he wasn't. He was with them because he was on the plane with them.
Yeah.
And he was the one yelling.
He is the chairman, that general guy.
I don't remember what his position was.
Okay,
but
I couldn't remember.
He was alive because he was yelling at the Secretary of Defense.
He was
about how you didn't tell us.
You didn't tell us.
So, but hold on, you have to be briefed by the Secretary of Defense, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs.
Yep.
The Joint Chiefs are all dead. They're all
Yes,
dead.
they were.
So that, I think we can override that part.
Right.
Because they're all dead.
Can we address, if we're already talking about these like chains of command, I want to address how the president gets into that fighter jet towards the end.
And people allow that.
And people allow that. There is no one else to take your place, sir.
Yeah.
Like, what's going to happen?
Right,
well,
yeah.
Who's
going to be president? If you go down, then there's no one.
There's
no
not
one.
Kiefer Sutherland?
I mean,
like what?
I loved that
I would
show.
be down.
I loved that show.
Yeah.
Right? I loved Designated Survivor. I love that show. I was like, why are you like, McLeish. Anyways.
But my point is, there wasn't even time. Like, it would be like some mayor or something who survived.
It would be Kiefer Sutherland. It would be HUD.
They'd have to go down the line so much.
He's a fighter pilot.
But he's not thinking this through.
I mean, no, I don't think in any scenario would you
He's
be
not
like, yeah,
thinking this
president, you go in and you go fight the
There's no
aliens.
vice president. There's no secretary of
No,
state.
he's dead.
There's
Dead.
nobody. They're all dead. And there was no designated survivor because nobody thought to do this.
Mhm.
So really, who's doing this? Who's stepping up?
Maybe the general guy.
No, it'd be like
you know what? Who would be?
If he was
Will
the
Smith?
if he
No.
was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs.
Yeah.
that
No, I think
general,
it would
if
be.
that was him, I think he would step
No,
in.
I think it would be the Secretary of Defense who gets fired.
Well, he was fired.
But then someone has to take his place. You can't have a secretary. You can't not have a
there must be
secretary
like a
of
deputy
defense.
somewhere.
So the deputy, whoever would like immediately have taken his spot, because let's assume the Secretary of Defense has like an assistant with him at all
Sure.
times, right? So that assistant now
Yeah,
becomes
he's
the
number two,
Secretary of
right.
Defense, is number 2.
And
I
then he
think
would become like the president.
President
Okay.
Bill Pullman didn't think this through.
For whatever's left of the United States, I mean, let's not
but
get too crazy about
there's
it.
still a
a
lot
lot.
left, and they can rebuild.
You forgot the entire Midwest?
I know there's a whole part of this
Conveniently.
country that
Please don't
exists.
isolate the
I
entire
know.
country.
I conveniently forgot the
Although I gotta
Midwest.
say, these movies
Just
do make
'cause
me
they
feel like
didn't
I should
talk-
live in the Midwest. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
no one's attacking
It's true.
Montana.
It's
in these
true.
movies.
It's true.
This is the part.
That's not even the Midwest.
This is actually
Yeah.
one of the things that deeply traumatized me about all of these
Like
things.
we live too
Vice
close to New York
President
City.
dead. Speaker of the House gonna assume he's dead. President pro temp of the
Dead.
Senate. I'm also
Dead.
gonna assume dead.
Dead.
Secretary of State. Secretary
Dead.
of
They
the
were all
Treasury.
in
Dead.
DC,
Dead.
dead.
Attorney General.
That's it, Secretary of Defense, right there.
Okay, maybe.
No, you're going to end up like, you're literally going to get to number 13, Secretary of Housing and Urban Development.
And it's going to be
Kiefer Sutherland, and then that's who you're getting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Secretary of Veterans Affairs is who's going to be running this country because Bill Pullman didn't think this through. Mm-hmm. Very valid point.
But,
okay.
But that's what I was going to say. All of these movies always took place like around New
No
York.
one is thinking
always.
At all. No one's thinking. Like in this entire movie, no one's thinking long term. They're just like, let me just act on instinct.
But also
we're fighting for our survival.
I know we are, but he didn't have to get into the fighter jet.
For independence, not from persecution, not from oppression.
No,
but from
annihilation.
Okay. He should have won an Oscar for that.
Did you ever see that? There's a video of a best man giving that speech as his best man speech at a wedding. That was a couple years back. It was so good. I loved it. You look it up. It's like on YouTube. It's so good because it's like slowly everyone in the room starts to realize what he's talking about. It's amazing. I think that there's
what else you got?
An argument to be made that they were extremely negligent, if not reckless, or in not warning the public earlier.
Yes. Okay.
They did not warn the public with sufficient time. The duty to warn before they were annihilated. Like these people could have been evacuating earlier. They could have sooner found like some sort of bunkers.
But
they could have gone to Montana.
But he's gonna have presidential immunity. Let's be real.
But also,
I know, but
they even if they did warn them right away, it was still not enough time. The aliens.
Well,
between the time that they
when Jeff Goldblum found it, by the time it counted down, what was it? 7
hours?
Yeah, and he had
You're
to
not
drive.
evacuating.
I know, but in 7 hours you can drive to like.
Where was he? Was he
Pennsylvania
driving?
in the middle of nowhere?
As is everybody else, so you're stuck in traffic now.
You're off-roading it. I don't know what to tell you, but you can drive to the like country bumpkin area of Pennsylvania 7 hours out. Somewhere between Philly and Pittsburgh, there's a safe haven for you if you are warned sufficiently.
How many people? Yeah, but you know what? How many people are really running to do that? The government warns us now when there's hurricanes, tornadoes, and you've got those morons that sit there and go, "Nope, I'm staying
but you
in
do
my
have
home."
people. You do have people who do evacuate.
But hold on. Think about the LA fires in January, right? As much time as they had, they gave people warning to evacuate. People did, and it was there was just such mayhem and traffic on the roads, people couldn't get out.
All right.
Real life evacuation. Hurricane Rita, 2005, took 36 hours to get.
With severe gridlock, fuel shortage, 100-mile backups. Where are these people going?
Exactly.
They had 7 hours. So
I think we need to just face the facts that we live near New York City. We're goners.
I just think that the government does have a duty to the citizens in the face of a catastrophic danger to warn them.
Or
to warn them.
Start building an underground
whether or not
bunker.
it works in their favor or not, you have a duty to warn.
Listen, I get it, but this is the part that would always keep me up at night as a kid because I lived in Brooklyn during these movies, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, you're toast.
Oh, you live in an apartment? That's hard. Yeah.
An apartment in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
They're attacking Manhattan.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. I mean, I was in northern Jersey, so it's like the Hudson is not big enough to like.
Right. The aliens wouldn't be like, we're gonna attack.
Correct.
We're gonna attack the city, but we're gonna leave.
Even 9/11, the ash came floating over. Like it came, I was in Jersey City.
No,
it
like
came
the
over.
smoke. I mean, it like smelled. Yeah, like for a long time.
For real.
Yeah. Okay, so there's that. Unauthorized use of Air Force One. I noted that, the non-military citizens.
By the way, just a point, this was before 9/11.
Yes.
It was 1996, yeah.
I wonder how this movie would have been different if...
Post 9/11?
Yeah, I don't know if they would have really...
Interesting.
I mean, it was the Empire State Building that we see
destroyed,
but still, it's like too similar. I think we wouldn't have had that scene.
Maybe not.
Post 9/11.
Yeah, maybe not.
There were definitely scenes that they had to take out post 9/11 in movies.
Yeah, I could see that. And so then, violation of military protocol. So Will Smith, he's just like steals an alien ship, launches a mission without any orders from the government or from the military. Like you can't just go AWOL like that. I understand special situation, alien attack, right?
Yeah, but
notwithstanding,
the military's pretty strict with that shit. Like even I don't know, will give him a hard pass.
Like there's a wartime leniency, but this was a pretty big thing he does.
Yeah,
on his own.
Do you know the other thing that I was thinking when he shows up with this like alien cadaver, or no, not yet because the alien's not dead yet, but when he's dragging the alien and they're like, you can't come in here, you need clearance, and he's like, well, I got this guy, I got the alien,
and they're like, let him in.
How do we know that aliens can't shapeshift
Right.
and take the form of humans.
Right.
You're right.
How do we know that you guys just didn't let,
That's a great point.
right?
You're right. Because it wasn't just him, though. It was the whole caravan.
You also don't know
behind him
you also
that
don't
got
know
let
that
in.
that
Yeah.
and we learned that it's not necessarily dead, but you don't know that alien's dead. You're letting an
Right.
alien, a potentially live,
Yeah.
as we then learned, alien into your facility. Like
And-
it was just like, okay, there goes protocol.
And
If
in
that
fact-
guy lived, he could have been prosecuted, I think.
Oh yeah.
The guy at the gate?
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
But also, when the alien then comes to life and starts to kill the scientist,
The scientist.
and they're like, get him out of there, let him out. And then they won't let him out because they need to hear the message that the alien is giving. And so they basically sacrifice the
Oh,
scientist.
the scientist's estate should definitely file a lawsuit. I agree.
Right? Do you remember that? When
Yeah,
he's
but I
like
mean-
choking the life out of him, but sending a message through
Right. They,
him?
they-
But-
instead of saving or attempting to save the scientist, they
There-
could have opened the doors
I
and like
know.
shot at the
I
alien.
had no problem with that at all. I
You
did
also-
not.
Well, you're not the scientist.
But
He
you
probably
also
a
had no
with it.
problem with wiping Texas off the
Correct.
map.
That's true.
Like,
That's
you have
true.
to sacrifice
Questionable
the few
judgment.
for the many sometimes. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, if
We're so
I'm here
sorry.
to make the big decisions.
if
big decisions.
now, if I think that if you are next of kin to that scientist,
I
you are
agree.
filing a lawsuit at this point, like hardcore.
But you know what? Okay, so I said I agree, but let's flesh that out for a second because are you filing a lawsuit? It's something that happened in like a war situation. He's a casualty of
Yeah, and
war.
instead of shooting they could have they had weapons. They could have shot that alien, but instead they were like, let's listen to the message and let this guy
Yeah.
perish. Like, no, you had a duty to like try to like mitigate that, like, you know.
that death.
I don't know that they consciously said that.
They did.
I thought it was more like a.
No, they're like, let's hear this guy out.
Well,
No.
no, but he started talking, and I
Yeah.
think they all got distracted. Is what
Yeah,
I'm
but I-
thinking.
Okay, but then that's negligence.
But I also realized that they couldn't. Like, what were they going to do? They didn't know what was in there.
Shot the alien.
shoot him.
Because they did at one point. They shot the alien.
Guns.
They
They
shot
just
the
wait,
alien.
waited
the
until
guns-
this guy was dead,
Did the
and then
guns-
they shot him.
Did the
They
guns
wanted to-
work?
Yes,
Yeah, the guns
yes, yes, yes.
work.
But
They
I don't know
wanted-
that they tested it out ahead of time, though. That they knew
They
it was
should
going
have
to
shot
work.
at him.
No, because there was. I specifically remember when the alien starts squeezing the guy and choking him. They're like, "Get him out of there! Get him out of there!" And then he starts talking to the guy, and they're like, "Wait, don't do it."
Wait,
you just made
don't
me
save
think
that
of something.
scientist. Let's hear the message. Fuck that scientist.
Which was the scene? I'm trying to remember now. There was a scene where he said, "Is that bulletproof glass?" And they said no.
That's when they
And
were
they
testing
all started
the shield.
shooting.
That's when they tested the shield.
It was the shield part, but
Yeah.
who was in there that they were shooting through the glass?
It was the spaceship, I think. No.
No, they were
No, I
shooting
think
at,
it was that.
at an
It was
alien,
in-
but I
yeah.
don't remember now the context because there was somebody was attacking. I
The
think
point-
the
They
president.
were able to shoot that alien dead.
Yeah.
They just let this scientist die first
'Cause
so
they
they
wanted
could
to
hear
hear
a
the
message.
message,
And I
right.
just think, listen, I understand why they did
They
it.
hung
I
him
just
out
don't
to
think it
dry.
absolves them of any liability. That's all.
They hung him out to dry.
Yep. That's it. Lawsuit.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, go ahead if you have another point, and then
I mean, the last one is, FEMA. Where's FEMA and all this? Because you have
FEMA's dead. Everybody's
mass
dead.
casualties,
Yeah.
PTSD, injuries. There's no triage.
Dead.
There are no stations, no psychological services. You
No,
don't see
no,
anything.
no, no, no.
No one's trying to take care of
the
any of these
president's wife
survivors.
died.
Okay, but that doesn't mean that the other survivors
Can
don't get any help
Can
from the
we
government.
talk about the president's wife dying?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
want justice for the first lady.
Yeah.
The first lady, Will Smith finds her by accident and brings her to the hospital, and the president and the daughter show up, and basically the doctors say she's bleeding too much. She's gonna be dead in 5 minutes. Say your goodbyes. Have you tried anything? Have you taken her into surgery? Can you try to
It
save
didn't seem
the
like they
first
were really
lady?
trying at all. They were just like, you know
No.
what? The aliens are here. I'm not going to even try any life-saving measures
I
at
felt
all.
awful.
As a doctor, I'm out of ideas. It's like literally when Natalie Portman, just like as Queen Amidala, is like, I'm sad. I'm going to die now. Like,
I'm gonna die
No,
now.
I thought it was really terrible. And like they're kind of just
Yeah.
like, all right, well, she died.
is she the same one as the woman in Battlestar Galactica? Like, no,
Oh, you might be right.
I think so.
You
right?
might be. In any case, I just wanted to put that thought out there.
Yeah, you might be right. Actually,
You might be right. I just wanted to put that thought out there because I felt really bad for her. And she seemed like an
Do you think there's like a
excellent
med
first lady.
mal issue here?
I
do you
do
think we could
think
sue
that.
the doctors
I
for
do
medical
think that.
malpractice? I think so.
I want to know what it
I'm
is
happy
that
to.
they attempted to do for this woman.
Nothing.
Because by the way, they were like, she's bleeding so badly internally that there's nothing we could do to save her. She's sitting up in bed.
And,
She's
yeah,
talking to
she's
everybody.
talking. Have you done an MRI? Like, have you done anything? No. It's like hashtag thoughts
She
and
wasn't
prayers.
hooked up to any.
Like, that's literally all they did. That's all they did.
Yep.
They were like, oh,
Yep.
so sorry.
Yep.
Too late.
Wow.
You say you agree with me, but yes, I think
I would take the med mal case.
I think it's a med mal case.
I think we should sue those
and
doctors.
this poor little girl is asking if mommy's sleeping now. I was like, wait a second, why are you doing this?
That's Mae Whitman, who I adore from Arrested
Wait,
Development.
was that? You're right.
And
oh wow.
I didn't even.
She's a cutie.
I didn't even think of that.
Love her.
In any case, shall we wrap it up with all of the insurance issues of the destruction of this entire country?
An act of aliens would, I mean, obviously, I think that all the insurance
You think it's going to
carriers
nullify
they would
all the
refuse
insurance
to pay.
policies?
They would say, nope, it's an act of aliens, and that that absolves us of any payouts, of responsibilities.
I think I need
it's
to
not
go
covered
check.
under our policy.
I need to go check the homeowners now and see if
an act of aliens
aliens is omitted.
Well, they wouldn't say act of aliens. They would probably try to phrase it some
like how?
Otherworldly things.
Well, I bet you they'd put it into some
Like a
kind of
force
like
majeure.
catch-all, maybe like force majeure. We talked about this with the Avengers, right? When we were talking about it would go under act of God, who was Thor, right?
That's an actual god, yeah.
Because he was an actual god. But I think you're right. I think the destruction would be so much that they wouldn't be approving any of these claims. I mean, it happened in real life with the LA fires.
Right, and those
they
were fires which are like foreseeable.
And they couldn't keep up and they were denying claims.
I know, which is it's awful.
Which is awful. But the scale of destruction, I mean,
How do you rebuild?
Not 3 major cities.
Many.
As far as we know, 4 major cities, right? Because don't forget Houston.
And again, that's just here. Yeah.
And by the way, can the people of Houston, the survivors from the
You
the
think
nuke,
there were survivors? I mean, if there were, okay.
right? But do they get to claim insurance when it was an act by the government? In theory, in self-defense, right? The government was trying to defend the people of Houston, and so therefore they used a nuke.
I think that's where actually FEMA might come in. And protect, like, and help you in that way. Because, yes, it was caused by the government, right. But it's intended to step in where it's these catastrophic things that really
I feel
are.
like insurance would cover it, but I just assume insurance is going to find
Well, they don't
any
want to cover
reason
anything.
to, deny claims.
Well, guys.
I think we ruined this.
This was depressing.
I mean, we really
Happy July 4th?
Yeah.
I mean,
ugh.
I am going to say this movie did not hold up well for me.
No,
I still found it to be enjoyable, and
Some of it was really dated.
It's really cheesy.
I gotta say, the scene where Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum are like swaggering through the desert with their cigars, I was like,
and meanwhile, I was like, I still like this.
But
and
hold on.
I like it.
And their women come running to them. Oh my hero!
I like it. I still
Wait.
like it. It's like Armageddon had that.
Woof.
Do you woof, she said. Do you feel that way? Do you feel that way because you're older? Do you feel that way because you never liked it in the first place? Do you feel that way?
No. I remember liking it and getting like real like rob at it. Now I'm pretty cynical, so now I'm kind of like
It's a cynical thing.
Yeah.
How many
Aliens?
aliens do we give this one? How are we rating this one?
I don't know. 0.
Really, like fairly
it's a lawless
low.
land at that point, and there are no laws, and nothing
Honestly,
applies.
we're just grateful the world continues to turn.
We survived.
Yes.
We did not go quietly into the night. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Happy 4th of July from your favorite podcasters.
Hopefully no aliens this time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's have some traditional fireworks.
all right,
Jenny, give your spiel. Like Spotify, follow.
Yes,
I don't know.
please follow us on Instagram at Let's Ruin It Podcast. Find us on YouTube at Let's Ruin It Podcast. Hit like, follow, and subscribe.
Apple Podcasts.
Keep it coming.
Spotify. And send us your suggestions.
And we've read some of your suggestions lately.
We have some coming out.
We have things in the works.
Specifically because of
Thank you guys. Yep.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So keep on writing to us. Don't send us any hate mail. And we will see you guys next time.
I know. Whatever. Good news is whatever. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.